We have a 4.5-month-old puppy, and last week she ate something that she shouldn't have done and was ill for a few days. And prior to her being ill, she had a great sleep routine. However, since she's been ill, she sleeps well, but she wakes up every night about 2:30 or 3 a.m. for a wee, and I'm not sure how to get her out of this new and inconvenient routine.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear your puppy was unwell, but things seem to be on the recovery. But as you say, those precious nights that you may have built up where previously she was sleeping through, that little routine seems to have been disrupted. But the good news is that with a bit of persistence and a bit of direction giving to the puppy, there's no reason at all why you can't return to, bearing in mind that the puppy's only 4.5 months old, there's no reason at all why you can't return to something that gives you both a good night's sleep. I would usually take the approach that it is best for the puppy and for you that you adopt a mental position where you think, right, I'm not going down to the puppy until 6 a.m, just as a suggestion, and that you basically allow the puppy to cry it through, okay? When you take that route, I would also ensure that you are not giving the puppy lots to drink just before it goes to bed. The puppy, of course, should have access to water all day long throughout the day, but in the pet crate at night, I wouldn't give any water, because what can easily happen is that you put your puppy to bed, let's say 10:30, 11 p.m, and the puppy can go in and drink a good old drink of water, and then inevitably come 2:30 a.m. Or that sort of time, your puppy will be desperate to go out for a pee. So with a little bit of management of access to water during the night, it can go a long way to giving you a good night's sleep, and of course the puppy a good night's sleep as well. As I often say to people during my own puppy visits, the dog can sleep all day in the day, but we as humans have to be up, generally at work or functioning, either looking after family or doing our day job. So we don't have that luxury of catching up with lost sleep in the day, unlike your puppy. So in essence, that's your answer there. No water in the crate at night. Don't go down until 6 a.m. Leave the puppy alone. You know that the pup is fine in its crate. Because if you continue returning at 2:30, 3 a.m, then you will genuinely make a rod for your own back, and it can become quite a difficult habit to break. This is a very common area that comes up as questions to me during puppy visits, is getting a good night's sleep. Okay, so once you know that your pup can go through to 6 a.m, then you can begin to add a bit of time. So because you might think, well, ultimately I'd like to return to the puppy at 7:30 a.m, which is quite acceptable and reasonable. So you have a difference then from 6 a.m to 7:30, and then you can just make that difference up over a few days by maybe 10-15 minutes that you might add on. Okay, so in essence, once you're able to go back to the pup at 6 a.m, then after a few days of that and it looking more settled, then you could go at 6:10, 6:15, 6:20, until over 2 or 3 weeks, for example, you actually are able to go down to your puppy at 7:30 a.m, and hopefully, of course, that you'll find that the dog is dry in its crate. So I hope that helps you. It's certainly a good practical way of looking at moving from where you are now, which is a little bit it is going to be difficult for you to maintain that, for you to get to somewhere which feels much more realistic for all involved. So thank you for your question.